The human was broke. The alien landlady was alone. The city was alive with the hum of futuristic technology, towering buildings that seemed to touch the sky, and streets bustling with people of every kind. Among the chaos, there was a young man named Alex, wandering the streets with no purpose, no direction. His clothes were tattered, his shoes worn down, and his eyes held the weight of someone who had been through far too much. Alex had once dreamed of a bright future. He had come to the city with hope, searching for opportunities, wanting to make something of himself. But life had other plans. It wasn't long before he found himself without a job, his savings dwindling, and now he had nothing left but the cold, empty streets. No friends, no family to turn to, he was completely alone. The city was vast, but it was also unforgiving to those who didn't have anything to offer. Alex had hit rock bottom. His stomach growled with hunger and his body ached from walking all day. He had been searching for hours, trying to find a place to sleep, but every corner he turned, every building he passed, seemed out of reach. People walked by without a second glance, and the lights of the city felt distant, mocking his failure. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the streets, Alex's desperation grew. He stumbled down a narrow alleyway, hoping to find some sort of shelter, even if it was just a doorway or a dark corner where he could rest for a while. His footsteps echoed against the walls, and the air felt thick with a strange energy, something he couldn't quite place. It was as if the city was holding its breath. Then he saw it. At the end of the alley stood a tall building, far different from the sleek, modern structures around it. The building looked old, with ancient stone walls that seemed to carry the weight of centuries. Vines crept up the sides and strange, glowing symbols adorned the door, pulsing softly in the dim light. It was out of place in the city, almost like it didn't belong here. But for some reason it felt welcoming, like it was waiting for him. Curious and with nowhere else to go, Alex walked toward the door. As his hand reached for the handle, the door creaked open on its own, revealing a long, dimly lit hallway. The air inside was cool, and a faint scent of something unfamiliar lingered. It was the smell of something ancient, something otherworldly. "Can I help you?" a voice echoed from the shadows. Alex froze, his heart racing. He hadn't heard anyone approach, but there at the end of the hallway stood a woman. No, not just any woman, this was someone different. She was tall, with skin the color of emerald, glowing faintly in the darkness. Her eyes shone like twin stars, bright and captivating. She wore a long robe that shimmered with colors Alex couldn't quite understand, as if it shifted between realities. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude," Alex stammered, his voice shaky. The woman's lips curled into a small, knowing smile. "You're not intruding. In fact, I've been expecting you." Alex blinked, unsure of what to say. Expecting him? How could she possibly know who he was? He had never seen her before in his life. "I'm Zara," she continued, her voice smooth and calm. "I'm the landlady here. You look like you could use some help." Alex stood frozen, trying to make sense of what was happening. This was not the typical reaction he was used to in the city. People didn't offer help. They didn't care. But there was something about Zara that made him feel like he could trust her. Maybe it was the warmth in her voice, or the way her eyes seemed to see right through him. Alex started, but his words caught in his throat. "I don't have any money. I was just looking for a place to sleep." Zara's smile widened, and she took a step closer, her presence somehow calming. "You don't need money, you need rest. Come inside." Without another word, she turned and walked down the hallway, and Alex, too tired to argue, followed her. The inside of the building was just as strange as the outside. The walls were covered in intricate alien symbols, and the air felt thick with something unfamiliar, something that hinted at knowledge far beyond what Alex could understand. They stopped in front of a door at the end of the hallway. Zara opened it with a wave of her hand, and the door slid open smoothly, revealing a room that was surprisingly cozy. It was furnished with soft, plush chairs and glowing lights that didn't seem to come from any obvious source. The room had an odd, peaceful aura, unlike anything Alex had ever experienced. "Rest here," Zara said softly. "You're safe now." Alex didn't hesitate. His exhaustion had caught up with him, and he collapsed into one of the chairs. For the first time in what felt like forever, he felt secure. His mind still raced with questions. Who was this woman? Why was she offering him a place to stay? What was this strange building? But for now, he couldn't keep his eyes open. Sleep took him almost immediately. As he drifted off, Zara watched him with a thoughtful expression. She seemed to be pondering something far beyond the tired man who had just entered her life. "You're here now," she murmured to herself, "but soon you'll discover why." And with that, she closed the door softly behind her, leaving Alex to rest, unaware of the strange events that were about to unfold. The unlikely bond. The soft hum of the building seemed to echo through the room as Alex slept, his dreams a tangled mess of memories and shadows. He didn't know how long he'd been asleep, but when he finally awoke, it was to the sound of a soft, melodic chime, like the gentle toll of a bell, distant but close enough to stir him from his slumber. His eyes fluttered open, and he blinked a few times, adjusting to the soft, dim light in the room. The strange feeling that had settled over him earlier lingered, but it wasn't as uncomfortable anymore. In fact, it felt oddly peaceful. He sat up slowly, the thick cushions of the chair molding to his form like something out of a dream. The room was quiet, save for the faint hum of the building. The walls, which had appeared like strange alien glyphs before, now seemed almost familiar, as if the symbols had a hidden meaning he was just beginning to grasp. Alex stood up, stretching and glancing around. The place was surreal, like no other apartment or room he'd ever seen. It wasn't just the architecture, it was the atmosphere, the air itself, that felt different. It was warm, comforting, but there was a strange weight in it, like it held a secret, waiting for him to discover it. As he walked toward the door, he heard footsteps approaching, and soon Zara appeared. She was dressed in a soft, flowing robe that seemed to shimmer, reflecting colors that Alex couldn't quite understand. Her emerald skin glowed gently in the dim light, and her eyes were sharp, intelligent. They locked onto his, and for a moment, Alex felt as though she was seeing something deep within him, something he didn't even understand himself. "Good morning," she greeted him, her voice smooth and soothing. "I trust you slept well." Alex nodded, unsure of how to respond. "Yeah, I did. I don't know what to say. This place is incredible, but I don't get it. Who are you? What is this place?" Zara's lips curved into a soft smile. "I am someone who has been here for a long time, and this place? Well, it has a purpose. It is a place for those who need refuge and for those who need answers, and you, Alex, are here because you have a role to play." Alex furrowed his brow. "A role, what do you mean?" Zara studied him for a moment, as though deciding how much to reveal. "You are more connected to this world than you know. The events of your life, your ancestors, and even the very city you stand in, everything is part of a much larger story, and you are just beginning to play your part." Alex couldn't help but feel a chill crawl down his spine. "I don't understand. What does that have to do with me?" She took a step closer, her eyes never leaving his. "You may not understand now, but you will. There are things about you, Alex, things you are not aware of that tie you to a much bigger picture, a picture that involves not just you, but others." Alex opened his mouth to speak, but before he could, Zara raised a hand. "I know you have many questions, and I will answer them in time. But first, I think it's best if you understand a little more about who I am and why I have chosen to help you." She motioned for him to sit down again, this time at a small table where a steaming cup of something sat waiting for him. The smell was sweet and comforting, something Alex could almost taste before he took a sip. It warmed him instantly, the heat from the cup spreading through his chest. Zara settled into a chair across from him, and for the first time, Alex noticed the slight tension in her posture. She wasn't just a calm, collected landlady. There was something more to her, something hidden beneath the surface. Her story, he realized, was not one of simple kindness. There was something deeper, darker, that she was keeping from him. "I wasn't always a landlady," Zara began, her voice distant as if she was recalling a memory long buried. "I am, from a different place, a different world, far beyond this one. I have lived many lifetimes, and in those lifetimes I have seen countless things. Many of them I would rather forget." Alex leaned in, curiosity overcoming his hesitation. "You're saying you're not human?" Zara's smile faded slightly, replaced with something harder, more solemn. "No, I am not. But my connection to this world is real, and my reasons for being here go far beyond mere coincidence. I've been searching for something, for someone, for a very long time." Alex could feel the weight of her words hanging in the air. The silence between them was thick with unspoken truths. Zara wasn't just some alien landlady. She was searching for something, or someone, and Alex was somehow connected to it. The realization sent a shiver through him. "So what does this have to do with me?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Why am I involved in your search?" Zara's gaze softened for a moment, and she leaned forward, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and determination. "You don't know this, but you are a descendant of a very important family, one whose actions shaped the course of this world's history. Your ancestors played a role in events that altered the very fabric of the universe. And now, you are the key to unlocking what has been lost. Alex's mind spun. He had always felt like something was off in his life, like he didn't quite belong. But this was beyond anything he had ever imagined. I don't understand, he said, shaking his head. I'm just a guy, I don't have any special power or... You do, Alex, Zara interrupted softly. You may not realize it yet, but the power is inside you, and you are about to uncover a truth that will change everything. The weight of her words sank into Alex's chest like a stone. There was something big coming, something that would pull him into a world he couldn't yet fathom. And the more he listened to Zara, the more he realized she wasn't just offering him shelter. She was preparing him for something much bigger. You will have to trust me, Zara said, her tone soft but firm. The road ahead will not be easy, but it is the only way forward, and it starts with you. Alex wasn't sure if he was ready for whatever lay ahead, but one thing was certain. His life had just changed forever. And the strange, glowing landlady sitting across from him, she was the key to everything. The alien past revealed. The quiet hum of the building seemed to grow louder, almost as if it was responding to the tension in the air. Alex couldn't shake the strange feeling that had settled over him. Everything Zara had said so far felt surreal, like he had stumbled into a world he didn't belong in. But there was something in her eyes, something sincere, that made him want to believe her, even if the truth was beyond his understanding. He looked at Zara, who was now sitting back in her chair, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup. Her emerald skin shimmered in the soft light, and for a moment, Alex almost forgot that she wasn't human. Her otherworldly presence felt natural here, in this strange building that seemed to bend the rules of reality itself. Zara's gaze drifted out of the window, where the city's neon lights cast a faint glow on the horizon. She seemed lost in thought, as if deciding how much to reveal. After a long moment, she spoke again, her voice softer now, almost like a whisper. It's time you know who I really am, Alex. Time you understand the truth about what brought us together. Alex leaned forward, his heart pounding in his chest. He was afraid of what she might say, but at the same time, he needed to know. Everything about his life had been turned upside down in the last 24 hours, and he was starting to realize that nothing would ever be the same again. Zara took a deep breath, and for the first time since he met her, there was a vulnerability in her eyes. I'm not just an alien landlady, she began slowly. I'm a guardian, a protector of worlds. My people are ancient, and we've watched over this planet for millennia. We've seen civilizations rise and fall, wars fought, and peace forged. But for all the time we've spent here, I've never been truly alone until now. Alex blinked, trying to process the weight of her words. Guardian, but why Earth? Why protect us? Zara's eyes met his, and for a moment Alex could see something deep behind them, a sadness that was centuries old. Because Earth is special, she replied quietly. It's a key in the balance of the universe. The events that happen here ripple across galaxies. My people have long been tasked with ensuring that this world doesn't fall into chaos. But there's more, much more. Alex felt a chill crawl down his spine. What do you mean? What's happened to make Earth so important? Zara's expression darkened, and for the first time Alex noticed a deep weariness in her features, as if the weight of her centuries-old mission was beginning to wear her down. Many years ago, my husband, his name was Chiron, was part of a peace treaty between several intergalactic races. A treaty meant to bring stability to the universe, but something went horribly wrong. Chiron disappeared, and so did the peace. Alex felt a surge of confusion. Your husband? I don't understand. What does that have to do with me? Zara's eyes softened as she looked at him. Chiron was more than just my husband. He was a key player in the treaty. He possessed something powerful that was meant to maintain the balance between the galaxies. But when he vanished, it left a hole in the universe. A hole that's been growing ever since. And that's where you come in, Alex. Alex could feel his heart race. He was starting to understand, but the pieces didn't fit together. Me, but I don't have any powers, I'm just... You're not just anyone, Zara interrupted, her voice firm. Your bloodline is connected to Chiron's. Your ancestors were involved in the events that led to the treaty. You don't know this, but you carry a part of Chiron's legacy, a legacy that has been hidden in your family for generations. The words hung in the air like a heavy fog, and Alex felt like he was drowning in them. His head swam with confusion, but at the same time there was a strange certainty building inside him. This wasn't some random encounter. This wasn't just a coincidence that had brought him here. There was something greater at play. I know this is hard to understand, Zara continued, her tone softer now, almost as if she was speaking to herself. But Chiron's disappearance set off a chain reaction. The peace he helped broker fell apart, and now the universe is teetering on the edge of war. Earth is caught in the middle, and you, Alex, are the key to stopping it. Alex's mind was racing. What do you want from me? I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Zara's eyes were full of something he couldn't quite place. Regret, hope, perhaps both. You have something inside you, something you haven't discovered yet. Chiron's legacy lives in you. The moment I saw you, I knew it was you. You've been chosen, Alex. A silence settled between them, thick with the weight of Zara's words. Alex sat back in his chair, his hands trembling slightly as he tried to absorb everything she had said. He didn't feel like a hero. He didn't feel like he was chosen for anything. He was just a guy who had nothing left. And now he was being told that his bloodline was tied to a galactic peace treaty, and he was supposed to save the universe. Zara leaned forward, her gaze intense. I know this is overwhelming, but the truth is, Alex, you are not the same person you were when you walked into this building. The power inside you is waking up. And when it does, you will have to make a choice, one that will determine not just the fate of Earth, but of the entire universe. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he stared at her, his mind spinning with questions. But one thing was clear. The world he knew was gone, and in its place was a new reality, one that was far bigger and far more dangerous than he could have ever imagined. He had no idea what was coming or how he could possibly be the one to stop it. But one thing was certain, his life had changed forever. And Zara, the alien landlady, was the one who had just opened the door to his destiny. The awakening. The room felt heavier now, the air thick with anticipation. Alex sat there, frozen in place, trying to digest everything that Zara had just told him. His hands gripped the arms of the chair as if they could anchor him to reality. But nothing felt real anymore. His mind was a whirlwind, swirling with the impossible, ancient legacies, intergalactic treaties, and the idea that he, an ordinary man, was somehow the center of it all. Zara watched him with a calm, patient expression. She could see the confusion, the disbelief written all over his face. She knew this moment would come. She had prepared for it. She had known that Alex's journey would begin with a storm of emotions. But what he didn't realize yet was that the storm was only the beginning. Alex broke the silence first, his voice hoarse as he finally managed to speak. You're saying that my family is somehow tied to an intergalactic treaty, and that I have some kind of power I don't even know about. Zara nodded slowly. Yes, your bloodline holds the key to the balance of the universe. It's been dormant for generations, but the time has come for you to awaken it. Alex ran his hands through his hair, frustration and doubt mixing in his chest. I don't know what you want from me. I'm just a guy who's lost everything. Why me? Why now? Zara's gaze softened, and she leaned forward, placing her hands on the table. Her eyes were filled with empathy, but there was also a deep, ancient wisdom there. Because, Alex, this world needs you. You may feel lost, but that's because you've been disconnected from the truth of who you are. Your connection to Chiron, the man who once held peace in his hands, runs deeper than you think. You are his heir. He swallowed hard, the weight of her words crashing down on him. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to believe that there was a purpose behind all the chaos that had led him here. But how could he? Nothing about this made sense. Zara seemed to sense his hesitation. I know this is hard, but I'm here to guide you, to help you unlock the power within you. But you must trust me, Alex. You must embrace your heritage. Alex stood up abruptly, packing the room. His thoughts were racing, but there was one thing he couldn't ignore, the undeniable pull inside him, a faint stirring deep in his chest. Something in him was awakening, just as Zara had said. It was subtle, almost like a whisper, but it was there. It was like his body knew something his mind didn't. Something deep within him was responding to the truth of what Zara had said. He stopped packing, his hands on his hips as he turned to face her. What do I need to do? How do I unlock this power? Zara stood, her movements graceful, almost otherworldly. She stepped closer, her presence enveloping him in an almost tangible way. The first step, Alex, is to understand that you are not just human. You are both human and something more. You carry within you the potential for great power, a power that is tied to Chiron's legacy. But to unlock it, you must first understand who Chiron truly was. Alex furrowed his brow. What do you mean, who was he? Zara hesitated, as if carefully choosing her words. Chiron was not just an ordinary person. He was a bridge between worlds, an ambassador, a diplomat, and a warrior. He had the ability to manipulate energy in ways that no one else could. His powers were linked to the balance of the universe itself, but more than that, he had a vision of unity, of peace, and he believed that Earth, of all the worlds, was the most important in that vision. Alex felt his pulse quicken. So Chiron was some kind of superpowered diplomat? Zara nodded. In a way, yes. He could harness the energies of the cosmos, bend them to his will, and that's what made him so valuable. His ability to maintain peace was what kept the intergalactic races from war. But when he disappeared, the fragile balance he worked so hard to maintain shattered. And now, Earth is on the brink of chaos, and your power is the only thing that can restore it. The weight of her words felt like a ton of bricks pressing down on Alex's chest. He had never imagined anything like this. He was just a guy who had been struggling to survive. How could he possibly be connected to a cosmic legacy like the one Zara was describing? Zara could see the disbelief in his eyes, but she didn't falter. I understand your confusion, Alex, but the truth is you are Chiron's heir. And now the universe is calling you. Whether you're ready or not, the time has come for you to accept your role. A sudden surge of heat rushed through Alex's body, and he stumbled back, clutching the edge of the table. It felt as though something inside him had stirred to life, something powerful and unfamiliar. His vision blurred for a moment, and he swore he saw flashes of distant stars and galaxies swirling in the darkness. For a split second, he could feel the weight of the universe pressing against him, as though he was holding it all in his hands. The sensation vanished just as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Alex breathless and trembling. What was that? He gasped, his heart racing. Zara was standing right beside him now, her presence steadying him. That was the beginning, Alex. Your power has awoken, but it's not fully under your control yet. You need to learn how to harness it. Alex's mind raced, and for the first time in his life, he felt like a stranger in his own body. The sensation he had just experienced was undeniable. It was real. But the thought of tapping into that kind of power terrified him. I don't know if I can do this, he whispered, his voice cracking with uncertainty. I'm not the hero you're looking for. Zara placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch warm and reassuring. You are more than you realize, Alex. You've already taken the first step by accepting the truth. Now you need to learn how to wield that truth. The universe will test you. It will challenge you. But you are not alone. I am here and I will guide you. Alex stood in silence for a long moment, feeling the weight of the decision before him. He had always thought of himself as just another face in the crowd, lost in the vastness of the world. But now, standing in front of Zara, he realized that he was part of something far bigger than himself. The universe had chosen him, and whether he was ready or not, he had a role to play in its future. I'll do it, he said, his voice steady, though his heart still pounded in his chest. I'll learn, I'll fight for the universe, for Earth. Zara nodded, a smile of approval tugging at her lips. Good. The journey ahead will be long, Alex, but remember the power inside you is ancient, and you're not just learning to fight, you're learning to heal. The balance must be restored. With that, Zara turned and began walking toward a door at the far end of the room. Alex followed her, his mind still spinning with the enormity of the task ahead. As he stepped through the door, he felt the weight of his destiny settle over him. His journey was just beginning. And he was no longer just Alex, the guy who had nothing. He was Chiron's heir, the key to the balance of the universe. And the universe was watching. The training begins. The door closed behind Alex with a soft click, sealing him inside a new space. The room before him was unlike anything he had seen so far. The walls seemed to ripple with an almost living energy, like the pulse of the universe itself was contained in the very structure of the building. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something unfamiliar, like the scent of a storm just before it breaks. Zara stood in the center of the room, her hands outstretched toward him, her expression focused and serious. This is where your journey truly begins, Alex, she said, her voice low and deliberate. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted in the atmosphere. This room felt more charged. The energy in the air felt electric, as if he could touch it, manipulate it. But how? He still didn't understand what was happening to him. He had no idea how to control whatever had stirred inside him just moments ago. He swallowed hard, his throat dry. What do I need to do? I mean, how do I learn this power? It's just so much, I don't even know where to start. Zara gave him a soft smile, but it was a smile full of knowing. You will learn in time, but first, Alex, you need to understand the basic principle of what you are becoming. Your power isn't just about manipulation, it's about balance. Chiron was a guardian of balance. His power lay in restoring what was broken, in making peace out of chaos. And that is what you must learn. Your connection to him is deeper than you know. You have the same potential. But the first step is to learn to control yourself before you can control anything else. Alex took a hesitant step forward. His body felt tense, like the air around him was charged with static electricity. He could feel the power thrumming in his veins, urging him to tap into it. But there was something holding him back. Fear, maybe, or uncertainty. He had always been an ordinary man. Now he was supposed to believe that he was destined to wield a cosmic power. It felt like the universe was playing some cruel joke. Zara must have sensed his hesitation because she gestured for him to sit down in front of her on the floor. The moment he sat, she sat as well, crossing her legs and folding her hands in her lap. I know this is difficult, Alex, but this power is not something you can simply force. You have to feel it. Feel the energy that flows through you. Alex clenched his fists, trying to focus, but nothing happened. There was no spark, no surge of energy. He felt empty. It was like trying to start a car that didn't have any gas in it. He opened his eyes and looked at Zara. I don't feel anything, he said, frustration creeping into his voice. How am I supposed to harness power I can't even feel? Zara's gaze softened as she leaned forward, her eyes full of patience. You don't need to force it, you need to listen. Your mind is clouded with doubt. Doubt is your greatest enemy right now. You have to let go of it, let go of everything that tells you you're not capable. Close your eyes, Alex, breathe deeply, and listen. Alex hesitated, but something about her calm demeanor, her unwavering confidence made him want to trust her. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and tried to let go of the swirl of thoughts in his mind. At first, it felt like an impossible task. His life, his struggles, his doubts, they all clung to him like heavy chains, but Zara's voice was steady, guiding him. Focus on your breath, in and out. Let the tension leave your body. Feel the air in your lungs, the steady rise and fall. Now imagine the energy inside you like a soft light that you can't yet see, but you know it's there. Focus on that light. Let it grow. Let it fill you. Alex felt silly at first. How was he supposed to focus on some invisible light? He felt ridiculous just sitting there, his eyes closed, trying to imagine something that wasn't even real. But then, something shifted. It started as a subtle warmth, a soft glow within his chest. At first, it was almost imperceptible, like the faintest spark. But as he focused, the light grew. It spread slowly, like the first rays of dawn breaking through the darkness. His breathing became steadier, more rhythmic, as if the energy inside him responded to the calmness of his mind. His pulse quickened and the warmth grew stronger. The glow within him expanded, swirling like a gentle breeze. He could feel it now, this energy, this power. It wasn't just inside him. It was part of him. It flowed through him like water, like the very air he breathed. Zara's voice broke through the silence. Good. Now reach out with your mind. Feel the energy around you. It's everywhere, Alex. It's in the air, in the ground, in the very fabric of the universe. You are part of it just as it is part of you. Let it connect with you. Alex's brow furrowed as he concentrated harder. He felt like he was in the center of a storm, the energy swirling all around him. It was chaotic but strangely beautiful. It was as if every particle in the room was vibrating, pulsing with life. He felt at one with it. A surge of power coursed through him, and for a moment he felt as though he could do anything. He could reshape reality itself if he wanted to. But as quickly as it came, the feeling vanished, leaving Alex panting with the effort of controlling it. He opened his eyes, breathless, and looked at Zara. I felt it. I felt the power. It was incredible. Zara nodded, her expression thoughtful. That was only the beginning, Alex. You've tapped into the energy, but now you must learn how to use it without letting it control you. That is the true test. The balance you seek isn't just about power, it's about harmony. Alex leaned back, still trying to catch his breath. His mind was racing. He could still feel the echo of that power inside him. But it was like a flame. It could warm him or burn him depending on how he handled it. Zara stood up, offering him a hand. The next step is learning to focus, to control it. You will not always have the luxury of time to think about your actions. In the real world, when you face your enemies, you must act without hesitation. Alex took her hand and stood up, still a little wobbly. He felt different, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. It was as if the universe itself had shifted inside him. What's next? He asked, his voice more confident now. The spark inside him had ignited, and he couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. Maybe he wasn't just some regular guy after all. Zara's eyes shone with quiet pride. Next, Alex, you will learn to manipulate that energy. You will learn to create, to heal, to destroy. The choice is yours, but first you need to trust yourself. As she spoke, Alex felt something inside him stir once again, a deeper connection to the universe, a calling that was far greater than anything he could have imagined. The road ahead would be dangerous, filled with obstacles and challenges. But for the first time since meeting Zara, Alex felt ready. Whatever was coming, whatever trials lay ahead, he would face them, because he wasn't just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for the balance of the universe, and he would not fail. The journey had just begun. The first test. The weeks that followed were a blur of training, discovery, and more questions than answers. Zara guided Alex through the ancient practices of energy manipulation, showing him how to channel the power that flowed through him. The training was intense, and every day Alex felt himself being pulled deeper into a world that was as foreign to him as the stars themselves. In the beginning, he had struggled to even summon a spark of energy. His mind was clouded with doubt, and his body resisted the change. But now, after hours of concentration, deep meditations, and countless attempts, he had made progress. The energy no longer felt alien, it had become part of him, like a second heartbeat. But there was still so much more to learn. Today, Zara had brought him to a different part of the building, one that was filled with strange devices and glowing symbols that pulsed with light. The air here was thicker, more intense, as if something important was about to happen. Alex felt the familiar energy stirring inside him, but this time it was different. There was a sense of urgency, as if a storm was brewing just out of sight. Zara stood at the center of the room, her arms crossed, watching him carefully. "Today, you will face your first test, Alex," she said, her voice steady, but with a hint of something deeper, something that told him this was no ordinary lesson. Alex raised an eyebrow. "Test? What kind of test?" Zara's lips curled into a faint, knowing smile. "You've been learning to control your energy, to harness it, but control means nothing if you can't act when the moment demands it. In the real world, Alex, there will be no time for hesitation. When your power is needed, it must come without thought, without fear." Alex's heart raced. The weight of her words hit him hard. He had trained with Zara for weeks now, but he had never faced anything truly dangerous. He had only just begun to grasp the power within him. How could he be ready for something more? But Zara wasn't giving him the chance to doubt himself. "The test will push you, but you are ready," she continued, her voice firm. "You've been preparing for this moment your entire life, even if you don't know it yet." Before Alex could respond, a loud hiss filled the room. The lights flickered and the floor beneath them trembled. In the far corner, a large metal door slid open, revealing a shadowy figure. It was humanoid in shape, but its features were distorted, unnatural. It moved in a fluid, eerie way, as if it were a being made of shadows, its form constantly shifting, never fully solid. The creature's eyes glowed with a faint, eerie blue light, and its mouth stretched into a wicked grin. Alex instinctively took a step back. His heart pounded in his chest. "What the hell is that?" Zara's voice was calm, almost too calm. "That, Alex, is a test, a creature from the void. It feeds on fear and chaos. It's here to see if you're truly ready to face what's coming, to see if you can control your power when your life is on the line." The creature's eyes locked onto Alex, its grin widening as it slowly moved forward, its shape warping with each step it took. Alex's pulse quickened, his body reacting before his mind could even process what was happening. His breath became shallow, his legs felt weak, and a cold sweat broke out across his skin. It was one thing to train in the safety of Zara's chambers, where nothing could harm him. But now, facing a living, breathing nightmare, he felt the weight of the power Zara had been trying to help him control. His hands trembled, and he realized that he wasn't just afraid of the creature. He was afraid of what he might do to it. Zara's voice cut through his rising panic. "Focus, Alex, don't let it control you. Control yourself." The words barely registered at first. The fear was overwhelming, a wave crashing over him. But then something inside him shifted. He remembered the warmth of the energy, the feeling of being one with the universe. He remembered how he had tapped into it before. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and focused. The creature's movement slowed, its chaotic form seeming to pause in midair. The energy within Alex surged, a feeling like fire igniting in his chest. The fear was still there, but it no longer controlled him. He was the energy now. It flowed through him, around him, and with a deep exhale, he reached for it. In an instant, he sent out a burst of force from his core. The wave of energy erupted from his body, blasting the creature backward with a deafening roar. The shadowy figure screeched in pain, but it didn't vanish. It writhed in the air, slowly reshaping itself, its glowing eyes burning brighter with fury. Alex gasped for air, his hands shaking as he tried to maintain his composure. He had done it. He had used his power, but it wasn't over. The creature was coming back, and it was angrier than before. Zara's voice rang in his ears again, clear and commanding. You have to do more than just push it away. You need to control it. Calm the chaos, Alex. Focus. Alex's mind reeled, but his determination surged. This time, he wasn't just pushing the creature away. He reached out again, this time with a calmer, more focused intent. He visualized the energy as a force of nature, something that could shape reality, not just destroy. He envisioned it wrapping around the creature, binding it in place, stifling its chaotic energy. As he did, the room around him seemed to shimmer. The temperature dropped slightly, and the creature froze in midair, its form flickering uncertainly. Alex's heart pounded as the energy flowed outward, weaving through the air like invisible threads. The creature's erratic movements slowed to a halt, and its form began to solidify, becoming more tangible, more controlled. Its eyes widened in confusion, as if it had never experienced such power before. Alex held his breath, focusing with all his might. Slowly, the creature's glowing eyes dimmed, its body stopped shifting, and it fell to the floor with a soft thud. It was no longer the terrifying, chaotic being it once was. It was still contained. Alex had subdued it. For a long moment, there was silence. The energy in the room was palpable, thick with the aftermath of his struggle. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths, his body trembling from the exertion. But despite the fear, despite the doubt, there was something else within him now, a flicker of pride, a spark of understanding. Zara stepped forward, her eyes filled with approval. Well done, Alex, you've passed the test. He looked at her, still breathing hard, and felt a small grin tug at the corners of his mouth. I didn't think I could do it. Zara's gaze softened. That's the key. You doubted yourself, but you didn't let that doubt control you. You trusted in your ability to be the energy, not just use it. Alex nodded slowly, absorbing her words. He had passed the test, but more importantly, he had faced his fear, and he had found his strength within. He wasn't just learning to control his power. He was learning to control himself. And as he looked at the still, defeated creature on the ground, Alex realized that this was only the beginning. The real challenges were still ahead, but now he knew he had the strength to face them. Because no matter what came next, he would no longer be just a man who had nothing. He was something far more powerful than that. The unseen enemy. The creature lay still at Alex's feet, its form frozen, its chaotic energy subdued. His heart was still racing, the pulse of the battle echoing in his ears. But as Zara approached him, her eyes full of quiet pride, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this victory was fleeting. There was something else, something beyond the creature, that lingered in the air. Zara didn't seem to notice. She knelt beside the creature, examining it with an almost detached curiosity. You did well, Alex, she said, her voice calm. This creature was merely a test, but you've shown you can handle your power. Alex couldn't take his eyes off the creature. It was hard to shake the image of it, a being of pure chaos and fear, lying helpless at his feet. It didn't feel like a test, it felt real. That thing was dangerous. Zara stood up, wiping her hands together as if brushing away dust. It was dangerous, but not for you anymore. You've proven you can control it, and that's the first step. But why send something like that after me? Alex asked, his voice laced with confusion. Why not just train me normally? Zara's gaze shifted. The world is full of forces you cannot see, Alex. You're not just training to fight visible enemies. You're training to fight all enemies. The unseen, the unknown, forces that work in the shadows. That creature, it was only a fragment of a larger problem. Alex frowned. A larger problem? What do you mean? Zara's expression grew serious, her eyes narrowing as if she were seeing something far beyond the walls of the room. There are ancient beings that have been watching you, watching your every move since you arrived here. The creatures from the void are only their pawns. There's a force, an intelligence working behind the scenes, and it's coming for you. The words hit Alex like a punch to the gut. His mind raced, struggling to keep up with the gravity of what Zara had just revealed. What do you mean it's coming for me? Who are these beings? Zara met his gaze, her eyes somber. The beings I speak of are the remnants of an ancient race. They were once guardians of balance, much like you will become, But something changed. They fell into darkness. They became corrupted by the very energy they were supposed to protect. They were exiled, but they never truly disappeared. Alex shook his head in disbelief. And they're after me. Zara nodded grimly. Yes, they are after you because of what you represent. You are the last of the Guardians, the only one who can stop them. The power within you is the key to restoring balance. They know this, and they will stop at nothing to prevent you from reaching your potential. The weight of her words sank in, each one like a stone pressing down on his chest. He felt small. He had never asked for this, never wanted to be a hero. He had simply been a man with nothing until he had stumbled into this strange, otherworldly existence. And now it seemed the universe was pushing him into a battle he wasn't ready for. Zara placed a hand on his shoulder, breaking him from his spiraling thoughts. You're not alone in this, Alex. You will have help. But you need to understand this. The real test is not your ability to wield the energy. It's your ability to withstand the pressure of what's coming. They will come for you in ways you can't imagine. Through people you trust, places you hold dear. They will try to break you, but you mustn't let them. Alex took a deep breath, the weight of responsibility crushing down on him. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm just a guy. How am I supposed to fight them? Zara's eyes softened, and for the first time, Alex saw a glimpse of something beyond the warrior, the fear, the vulnerability. We're all just people, Alex. We're all just trying to survive. But the ones who survive are the ones who choose to fight, even when it seems impossible. You've already made the first choice. You'll make the next one when the time comes. Alex nodded, feeling the heavy burden of her words settle in his chest. He didn't have a choice. The path ahead was already set in motion. It was no longer about what he wanted or what he thought he could handle. It was about surviving, fighting, and hopefully winning. He looked down at the creature still lying motionless on the floor. So, what happens now? Do I just keep training, keep waiting for these beings to show up? Zara's gaze hardened as she turned away from the creature. No, the waiting is over. You faced your first test, and now we move forward. But before you can confront them, you need to learn to trust your power completely. We can't predict when they'll strike or where, so your next lesson begins now. You'll need to learn how to fight in ways that aren't just physical. You'll need to anticipate their moves before they even make them. Alex raised an eyebrow. You're talking about strategy, preemptive strikes. Zara nodded. Yes, it's more than just fighting, Alex. It's about knowing your enemy, anticipating their intentions, reading the signs before they make their move. The beings you will face won't play fair. They'll manipulate the world around you. They'll try to turn your allies into enemies. They'll twist your reality, and if you're not careful, you'll fall into their trap. Alex swallowed hard. The weight of the situation was slowly becoming clear. This wasn't just about learning to use his power. It was about mastering the way he thought, the way he saw the world. He would need to trust his instincts, see things others couldn't, and stay one step ahead. But before all that, Zara continued, her voice turning more intense, you'll need to understand something crucial. The creatures from the void, these beings, they don't just feed on chaos. They feed on fear. Your fear, Alex, and the more you doubt yourself, the more powerful they become. So your next lesson is this. You must learn to embrace the fear. You must turn it into your strength. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. Embrace fear? Isn't that dangerous? How do I? You don't control fear by running from it, Zara interrupted, her voice steely. You control fear by accepting it, learning from it. Fear doesn't have to be a weakness. It can be your greatest weapon if you let it guide you. The idea was foreign, unsettling, but something in Zara's words resonated with him. He had lived his whole life running from fear, avoiding it at all costs. But now that fear had found him. It was time to confront it. And maybe, just maybe, that was the only way to survive the storm that was coming. Zara stepped back, her expression becoming more serious. You'll have to face your fear, Alex, just as you faced the creature. But this time the stakes are higher. The real battle has only just begun. Alex's gaze hardened. He wasn't just training anymore. He wasn't just a man in a strange world. He was becoming something more, something powerful. The darkness was coming for him, but this time he would be ready. And this time, fear would be his ally.